Out of there. What's up, guys? Hey, happy Tuesday, I guess. I'm sorry my puppy's going rogue on me this morning, so I'm just gonna move him out of this room real quick, then I'll finish up our lesson for today. But it should be a quick and easy one today. I hope you guys had a great weekend, but give me 1 second. Let me throw him out. You've been benched, Bob. See you in a bit. Okay. So, what's up, guys? So today, what we're going to be working on is, last week we were doing multiplying exponents with a common base. Today we're going to be doing dividing exponents by a common base. Okay, and it seems a little easier than it probably should, but that's okay because we're going to be learning something on Thursday that's going to push you a little bit more, and we're going to be expanding our song that we're working on. So let's just dive right into it. So last week we had something that looked like this. We'll say x to the third y to the fifth times x squared y to the third. Okay? And we had lots of strategies we could do. You could expand it, which I would always recommend if you can't see the algorithm. So if I expanded it, it would be like this: x times x times x, y times y times y times y times y, x times x, y times y times y times y. Oops, y only 3 times. Okay? And then when I simplify that back, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's, so that'd be x to the fifth. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 y's, y to the 8th, and that would be my answer. Okay, if I wanted to, I could have just done the algorithm, which would have said x, and then here I'd take my x exponents. So I'd say 3 plus 2 times y, which was 5 plus 3, which is the exact same thing I got from expanding. Okay, so that's what we worked through last week. Let's clear that off. This week, instead of multiplying, we're looking at stuff that's dividing. It just looks like this. And this tends to be the easiest for 8th graders to pick up, just because it's easy to cancel stuff and you guys love doing it. So let's say we had a to the fifth, b to the third, all divided by, we'll say, a7, b2. Okay? So if I have something like that, there's a couple things I could do. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand it out. Like whenever I do these, the first thing I always lean to is expanding, so feel free to expand away. In this case, we'd have a times a times a times a times a times b times b times b on top. And on bottom we have a times a times a times a times a times a. That's 7 times b on bottom. Okay? Now, when I'm looking at that, it looks kind of like intimidating to me, but I'm not going to get like messed up by that. I'm just going to cancel out anything that's the same on top and bottom, because anything divided by itself is 1, so we can cancel it out. So like this a and that a can be canceled. This a and that a can be canceled. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Okay? So I cancel out all my a's on the top. There's no more a's to cancel out, so these 2 a's are going to stay on the bottom. And I'm going to cancel out the b's on the top. And when I'm left with everything, all I'm left with is what b on top and a's on the bottom, which could translate like that. Okay? Now if you're an all-star and you can really get good at seeing these, what you can see is you can rewrite this without the division, because if there's an a squared at the bottom, that's the same as this, a to the negative second. However, I don't require that. When you get a little higher in math, they want you to make that jump. But for today's purposes, let's just focus on getting this far. Okay? Let's look at another one real quick, just because I'm having so much fun doing these. So we have, we'll say c negative 2 b 3 all over c5 b2. Okay? Now, in this case, when I expand it out, since, I'm just going to draw my division sign here, since this is a negative 2, those c's are going to come to the bottom, and then I'm going to do my b's on top. Now here I got C5, so I'm going to add in 5 more C's and then 2 B's. So when I'm looking at this problem, now that I've expanded it right, I'm just going to cancel out anything that's the same on the top and the bottom, which are those 2 B's, and I'm left with B over C, 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 C. Is that right? Yep. Like that, which if I write it in exponential form now, I have this. Okay? And if you expand it out, you're always going to get it right. Okay? However, just like with multiplication, when we multiplied exponents by a common base, we could add our exponents. Well, it just works out that if we didn't want to expand it out, when we're dealing with division, we can subtract our exponents. So the first thing I'll do is I'll take my first base, which is C, and I'm going to take the -2, and I'm going to subtract 5 from that. Okay? Then I'm going to take my B, and I'm going to take my 3, and I'm going to subtract 2 from that. And what I'm left with then would be C, -5 minus 5 is -7, and B, 3 minus 2 is 1. And I'd be done. Now you see how that was a little bit different? How my original one was B over? Well, I could rewrite this, because that's a negative, I could rewrite it like this if I choose to. B over C7, or you could leave it as C -7 B1. It's your choice. Both are correct. Okay, but see how I could just subtract my exponents in this case? So let's look at a few more examples real quick. I'll go through these using the algorithm for if you don't want to expand them. So in this case, let's say A3 B9 over A4 B6. I'm going to move my first base number. Okay, and then I'm going to do my exponents. 3, since it's division, I'm subtracting, so it'd be 3 minus 4. I'm going to take my second base number. I'm going to take my 9 minus 6. Always start with your top exponent first, the bottom exponent second. And when that simplifies out, it is A -1 B 3. Okay? Let's do one more, then I'll let you guys go have at it for the day. Let's go A7B9 divided by A4B3. Again, I'm going to move my base number here. I'm going to subtract my exponents. 7 minus 4. I'm going to move my base number here, and I'm going to go 9 minus 3, and that gives me A3B6. And I'd be done. Okay, that's all we're working on today. Tomorrow we're going to practice a little bit of both, where you're multiplying and dividing. It's a little more complicated, but I'll have a good tutorial up for you on that too. And then we're going to look at, and then tomorrow we'll also get another verse to our exponent song, so lucky you guys. And we'll go from there. That's what I got for you today. Make sure you guys work hard, get it done. These just require a little bit of practice for you to grasp, because we only have about 3.5 weeks left of classes, so we got to make sure that we are picking up this stuff and not losing it just because it's the end of the year. Okay, so with that, do your best and have a good day. I gotta go grab my dog.